The Biden administration is offering a deal to Russia. The offer was made weeks ago and would concern both Griner and Paul Whelan, another American jailed in Russia. Griner appeared in court again today as her trial continues. With all the changes now in college football, Iowa coach Kirk Ferentz is concerned.
Right now, I'm sure there's a lot of us that are a little confused on what the rules are and what are the, how do you operate. So I'm not sure that's healthy. And we just have such a good game. I hate to see it, implode or, suffer a setback because, things are a little bit too loose.
Kirk Ferentz. Mike Trout of the Angels says he's dealing with a rare condition in his back that he'll probably have to manage for the rest of his career. Trout had a cortisone injection in his back last week. First final of the day in baseball, the Phillies playing at home beat the Braves 7-2. Kyle Gibson, 6 innings for his 6th win of the season.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Sounds like the 420 cruise got started a little early, huh? Are there, Muse? All right, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
The very sober Matthew Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Oh, yeah.
It's hump day.
In a good mood today.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Saints hit the practice field for training camp. It is foosball season.
It's hump day.
Brian Kelly was at Rotary today.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It is foosball season. But we do have some golf to talk about.
It's hump day.
Really just money.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
What is Vegas really thinking about LSU? Oh, some of you are not going to like this.
It's hump day.
Todd Graffagnini, hour 3.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
But not talking Pels. Graff on the Saints beat today.
It's hump day.
We'll get a camp report.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Overrated, underrated. Muse will no doubt be very contentious with me during that segment.
It's hump day.
Taylor Calandro later this hour for a Whiskey Wednesday.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We're rocking and rolling. All right, glad to have you with us. Let's get going. As I did mention, so Brian Kelly at Rotary today. That is customarily the final public media appearance or public appearance for the LSU head coach before the season. It's always the Wednesday before the Tigers open camp. So Brian Kelly was at Rotary today. We'll let you hear plenty of what he had to say as the Tigers hit the practice field 7 days from now on the 4th. So looking forward to that as LSU's gearing up for practice. The New Orleans Saints hit the practice field today, Wednesday, to open up the first training camp under new head coach Dennis Allen. And naturally, whenever you go out to camp, one of the first things you do is you look at, okay, who's there, who's not there. Notably, Tyrann Mathieu is not there. It's an excused absence, as we've learned. There's some others. Tano Passanio is on the NFL illness list. You got to assume COVID, but I don't know that, so I don't want to be careless. And, of course, we were all assuming that Michael Thomas would not be there because, as we learned, Michael Thomas was likely to start the season on the PUP list, which is the physically unable to perform list, PUP as it's often called. And look, Mickey Loomis, when he met with the media on Tuesday evening before practice opened, said as much.
I don't expect him to be on there very long, but just not quite ready to be full go yet. So, but I don't anticipate him being on that list for very long.
Would you describe this as a setback?
No, not at all.
So, Michael Thomas was going to start on PUP. Loomis said, look, it's not going to be too long. But look, y'all, last week when we learned Michael Thomas was going to start the camp on PUP, there was a lot of melt. How is Michael Thomas not ready yet? But if you listen to this show, kind of told you to block all that out. No, seriously, listen. I'm going to tell you this. Trust your eyes and not what the narrative is going to be about Michael Thomas being on the PUP list. All throughout this summer, we have seen Michael Thomas on his social media posting videos of him running and working out. He's stopping and cutting and running outs and running. There was the one video of him in the same facility, straight line speed, completely opening it up. Michael Thomas looks like he's ready to play a game. He looks like he is not in any way inhibited by anything. Well, I'll be good gosh darned. Lo and behold, the Saints today out on the practice field to open training camp, and guess who is out there running routes in uniform, participating day one, none other than Can't Guard Mike. You gosh dang right. Michael Thomas was out there today with his teammates for the first practice of training camp, and he looked just like Michael Thomas. And I'm going to tell you what, he got testy with a reporter at one point after practice, and you could tell this dude is pissed off. Excuse my language, and some people don't like that, but you can tell that Michael Thomas is out with something to prove this year. He got the big contract, and since then, he has missed a ton of games. We know he was injured in 2020, tried to play through it, missed all of last season, and a lot of people have looked and say, he got paid, now he got lazy, quit on the team. All the narrative that's out there. And you can tell Michael Thomas is ready to absolutely blitzkrieg that narrative this year. After practice today, Michael Thomas was very, very grateful for the opportunity to be out there today with his teammates.
I'm kind of lost for words. I didn't want to come up here and get emotional or anything, but it was a blessing to definitely be back out there with the guys, being able to put my hand in the plow and just be out there to perfect my craft and compete and encourage guys and get ready to help DA win some games.
Get ready to help DA win some games. Y'all, Michael Thomas is critical to this offense. We know it. We've said it a ton. If you've forgotten it or doubted it, you're about to see it again. A dude who had back-to-back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons to begin his career. He got broke off, and he got injured. To his credit, he tried his best to play through that injury. We all know what happened. He and the organization had a disagreement. It's water under the bridge now. The organization wanted him to get surgery. Thomas thought he could rehab it. He ghosted the team. Big mistake by a young guy. Came back for workouts, had a setback, had the surgery, missed all of last year. They're over it. The organization has moved on. They love the guy. He's integral to what they want to do. It's not even worth having this conversation anymore about what happened in the past. It's all about looking forward to say, okay, to what form can Michael Thomas return? I've told you my prediction is look at his rookie numbers. I think he's a 90-catch guy with 1,100 yards. I think that's where you have to start this year with Michael Thomas. New quarterback, new-ish system, first year back after missing a season. It's almost like coming back into the league. Set that as your benchmark, and I think that's a great place to start. Here was Dennis Allen on Thomas being back today.
Mike Thomas wants to be out here. He wants to help this team win games, and that's his whole mindset and his whole purpose. And he's extremely driven to be able to do that, and I think this was a good step in the right direction. So we still got some things we got to get accomplished, but it was good to have him out here on the first day.
Out there on the first day, ready to roll with his team, and of course, a new starting quarterback with Jameis Winston slinging the rock to Michael Thomas. Here's what Jameis said about having his quarterback there with him.
We were in similar situations, right? We wanted to be playing, and we couldn't play last year. So I think that parallel relationship helped us grow together. We were on the same page, right? And now it's just time to go out there and ball together. and he's worked his tail off. And now we got the opportunity. We're all in-house, so let's do it.
Thomas looks great. Jameis, of course, coming off the torn ACL. That would normally be the lead story. Your starting quarterback coming off a torn ACL on Halloween out there for practice one. Normally, that would be the starting the headline. Remember, that's what Cincinnati went through last year with Burrow. And he was slow to come along in camp and then didn't really hit his stride, he said, until after the bye, about halfway through the season. The fact that you're up there day one of training camp and you got Jameis Winston up there and Michael Thomas both going full speed is fantastic news. One more, though, and it's Michael Thomas talking about playing with Jameis Winston.
Jameis, he's a competitor. He's like the ultimate competitor. He always shows up ready to work. It's like you're not going to outwork him. You're not going to deny him. And he always has that energy. He brings that energy and passion, and you just feed off that. And I'm excited to play with him, and I'm excited to help him.
Tons of respect mutually between the two, and that relationship on the field is going to have to be pristine for this offense to flow the way we expect that it can and will this year, with Pete Carmichael calling plays, Jameis Winston now throwing to Mike Thomas and Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry. Exciting day, man. A really exciting day as the Saints open up training camp with a healthy Michael Thomas on the field, a healthy Jameis Winston on the field, and they push toward their first preseason game, first of 3, and, of course, the season opener on September the 11th in Atlanta against the Falcons. All right, it's after further review. Mentioned Brian Kelly had his final sort of public availability today before the Tigers open up camp. It was the Baton Rouge Rotary meeting. We'll let you hear some of what Brian Kelly had to say, including some interesting comments about how they plan to use the tight end this year. We'll get into that coming up here in just a smidge. Glad you're with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. As we get closer to Saints season, we'll be telling you about tailgates and game watches, and now you can get everything that you need for those events at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. You can always pick up a hot lunch at Rouse's or dinner for the entire family. Rouses.com is the website. You can download the Rouse's app. And the thing I tell you all the time is they have delivery and pickup options. So go to the website, Rouses.com, download the Rouse's app. If you can't get there or you're trying to save time, select your items. They'll go shop for you. When you pull up into one of the curbside spots, they'll bring your groceries out to you. Or if you can't get to Rouse's, they'll deliver to your home, Rouses.com or on the Rouse's app. Of course, every single thing you would need at a grocery store and all the prepared food as well. Sandwich trays, catering trays, charcuterie. They got the great seafood, hot and boiled kiosks, sushi, grab and go. One place. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
When every young man comes into our charge, that they feel as though they're being given the opportunity to be coached and developed in a positive manner. You're going to see that when we interact with our players, we're demanding.
Brian Kelly today at the Baton Rouge Rotary Club. It is a customary that the Wednesday Rotary meeting, the last Wednesday before the Tigers open camp, the LSU head football coach is always the featured guest, and that is the last sort of public appearance for the football coach before the Tigers open camp. They'll open up camp on the 4th. So next week, August the 4th, LSU will be out on the practice field. One of the things Brian Kelly talked about was the tight end situation. I want to get to that in just a quick second, but pretty excited about this. You know, Pluckers is our Wednesday title sponsor, and they're doing themed. Every Wednesday is trivia. They're doing themed trivias tonight, 90s trivia. They're also introducing a prize wheel. So, of course, there's Pluckers gift cards and different great things, prizes you can win on the prize wheel. Whenever you win, you spin the wheel and you get the prize. But in honor of 90s trivia tonight, Muse, if you would, I put Muso up to this, to hit me, to pepper me. Oh, yeah. Pepper me with a little 90s trivia. That's Good from Better Than Ezra. Deluxe, 1994. One of the few albums that I can still listen to start to finish without ever skipping a song.
Ooh.
Amazing album. Anyway.
I have what I learned today.
I love Deluxe. Amazing album. Okay, Muse, 90s trivia. I said, look, sports, music, pop culture. I feel like this is my wheelhouse. I should be able to just hammer this out the park. If I wasn't going to Scone and Tea tonight, I'd be at Pluckers, winning Pluckers gift cards at 90s trivia. So what you got for me?
Okay, well, let's start with kind of some music, right?
All right.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah, got her.
Heard of her. Had a massive hit in 1992.
I Will Always Love You.
With a... Yes.
Next.
But that's not
Kevin
the question.
Costner, The Bodyguard.
No. Whose cover was that?
That's not a good question.
It's a great question.
No, it's a terrible question. Next.
You can't just make it too easy. Okay, fine. Layup.
I nailed it before you even had it.
This is a layup. Not really, but this is a layup.
Who was it? Who was the...
Dolly Parton.
Who cares? It's terrible.
Kind of a legend,
That's not a 90s question.
Yeah, a little bit.
I nailed Bodyguard, Kevin Costner. Before you even had it, I Will Always Love You. Nailed it. The music video with the sport coat on, sitting backwards on the chair. I mean, come on, Whitney. Whitney was my girl. I hate Bobby Brown. To this day, hate Bobby Brown for killing Whitney Houston. What he did to her.
Layup. This is a layup.
Okay.
The Dream Team won an Olympic gold medal in what year's games?
The 1992 Barcelona games.
It's indeed.
Fact. Yes. Give me the ding.
I'm trying to find it.
Got it.
There we go.
Christian Laettner was the only collegiate athlete. Actually, was coming out of college. Was supposed to be Shaq, but ended up being Laettner on that 92 team. And then Shaq, of course, was in the 96 team, the Dream Team, too. Told you. You're in my wheelhouse right now. In my wheelhouse right now, Muse.
What was the first
rap
Boy,
song.
I tell you what, also, those 92 games, when Jordan and Pippen, when they played Croatia, they made it their point to make sure they embarrassed Tony Kukoc in those games because Kukoc was coming to the Bulls and he was supposed to be the hot young thing and all that sort of stuff. They pimp-slapped old Kukoc. Anyway, next.
We're going to do this one. I like this one.
All right, one more.
What actor starred in 2 of the top 10 highest-grossing films of the 1990s?
Oh, man. Give me a hint there? I mean, that's a pretty broad question. Let's see.
All right, I'll give you... we play some of his music on this show as a drop. So he was also a rapper.
A rapper. Highest grossing films of the 90s. This is not a good...
Prince, but not the singer. Oh, come on.
Prince, but not
the singer.
Oh, Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Okay.
Independence Day and Men in Black.
Independence Day. ID4. Watched it on Independence Day at the Old Oak Cinema 8. How about that? That was a good one.
Good clue there.
Good.
Prince, but not the singer. That was a good clue.
That was a good clue. That was actually, I like what you did there. Okay, so 90s trivia tonight at Pluckers, each location starting at 8 o'clock. Get on and win you some gift cards and spin that prize wheel. All right, so Brian Kelly was at the Rotary Club meeting today in Baton Rouge at the South Stadium Club. Final public appearance for the head coach before they start fall camp. And Kelly talked about a lot. He did talk about why not. Every room he went into at Media Days, he got asked about fitting in Louisiana. Every interview I did at Media Days, I got asked, does Brian Kelly fit? Why not? When Brian Kelly's there at Rotary, when they ask about him fitting in here.
I can tell you that when you have such passionate fans, when you have such purposeful fans, when you have the food that you have here, and the friendship and family, and the love of football, how could you not fit in immediately? And we've loved it down here, and we consider it home already.
You notice he said family in there? Did you notice it? That was completely intentional, by the way. He did talk a lot about football, and there was one thing in particular he said that caught my attention because we have focused a good bit here, and in particular this week with the commitment from Tavion Galloway, the 4-star tight end for the 2024 class. We've talked this week about the tight end position. So it was interesting for me today to hear Brian Kelly talk about how they plan to use the tight ends this year. Now remember, this tight end group is lean, and it was a spot where the previous staff just didn't do a great job recruiting or maintaining that position on the roster. They had Eric Gilbert. He defected during 2020, and then they never really addressed it again. So you're building there again, and I think they're doing a really good job where you've got Mac Markway committed for 23. You've got Tavion Galloway committed for 24. Trey'Dez Green, the number 1 player in Louisiana for 24, is a tight end. So you've got the pipeline coming, right? You got Mason Taylor coming to campus this year, who's a freshman. But how you handle tight end this year could be a problem. But listen to what Brian Kelly said.
We have to be able to recruit some depth at that position. There's no doubt that was a position that does not fit, my profile. That just happens when there's a change in coaching staff. I have a preference to have a deeper, I would say, tight end, depth chart. And we just don't have that right now. So it's going to take us a recruiting cycle. But we have guys on board that are going to fill in at that position. We won't have the ability to be as multiple as I would like at that position this year. But we'll manage. We'll be creative. And you'll see a tight end on the field probably every snap.
How about that? The last 10 seconds or so there was the most effective. He kind of went through it. Look, coaching changed. There's not the depth that I prefer there. I like to feature the tight end, but he says, we won't have the ability to be as multiple as I would like at the position this year, but we'll manage. We'll be creative, and you'll see a tight end on the field probably every snap. Yeah, I want to put some perspective around this for you, why the tight end and how the tight end is so important in Brian Kelly's offense. And by the way, I don't have the answer. I don't. My guess is they're going to find someone among the group that they really like because you have 4 guys that are all pretty different. Cole Taylor's a 6'7" dude with a pretty big catch radius that's not really a great blocker. Jack Mashburn's pretty physical guy, kind of athletic, but he's not going to blow you away with his ability either as a blocker or as a pass catcher. He's just kind of good at both. Mason Taylor's a true freshman, maybe the highest ceiling among all of them, but you don't really know. And Nick Storrs is probably just your big 6'6" body that's going to block. They all have a different skill set. So he said we're going to get creative. The chore is not becoming predictable by personnel. Like the Saints battled this for years. If Jimmy Graham was on the field, he's out there to catch a pass. When Hooman was on the field, he was out there to block, right? So the challenge is, how do you not become predictable by personnel? So that's going to be the challenge for this team as well. But again, Brian Kelly said they'll get creative, and my guess is one of the players among the 4 I just mentioned is going to fit the skill set they prefer and is going to emerge. But again, I said I want to put some context around this. Last year for Notre Dame, I'm going to throw some numbers, but just let this just sort of marinate. You don't have to remember this. Just let it resonate because you're a football fan and you know when I read these, it's going to be, you'll have the appropriate reaction. Michael Mayer, who's the best tight end in college football, last year at Notre Dame had 71 catches for 840 yards and 7 touchdowns. He was the second leading receiver on the team, the tight end. 71 for 840. In 2020, again, abbreviated season, Mayer had 42 for 450, second leading receiver on the team. Back in 2019, Cole Kmet, remember him? He was also a pitcher on the baseball team. Cole Kmet, 43 for 515 and 6 touchdowns. Second leading receiver on the team. Tight end, second leading receiver on the team. 2018, Alizé Mack and Cole Kmet combined for more than 50 catches and 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. They combined to be the second leading receiver on the team. They were 4th and 5th, but combined, the tight end spot was second on the team. Same thing in 2017 with Smythe and Mack combined. They were 5th and 6th, but combined to be second on the team in receiving. You understand the point? Brian Kelly's offense flows through the tight end. If it's one guy, or in instances like with Kmet and Alizé Mack or Smythe and Mack, there have been instances where they've used 2, and I think that's going to happen this year. But they will flow the offense through the tight ends. Who's it going to be? So for perspective, last year, Cole Taylor was LSU's leading receiver among tight ends, had 6 catches for 68 yards. That was your leading receiver among tight ends. 6 for 68. Thad Moss in 2019 had the greatest pass-catching season in LSU history for a tight end. We went through this. Prior, you could look at Robert Royal in 2002, and you could look at David LaFleur in 1996 for the best pass-catching seasons by a tight end in LSU history. Moss blew their numbers out. 47 catches for 570 yards and 4 touchdowns. 47 for 570. Put some context. Last year, Mayer had 71 for 840. Michael Mayer last year basically doubled the greatest receiving season a tight end's ever had at LSU. Now, he's special. He's going to be a first-round pick and all that sort of stuff. But the greatest season a tight end's ever had at LSU catching the football is the average for a tight end under Brian Kelly in his offense. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't. But you heard Brian Kelly say it today. And kind of in a sly manner. Like, we'll be creative, and you're still going to see a tight end on the field every play because that's going to set up what he likes to do offensively. And you better believe he and Mike Denbrock are going to be in lockstep with that in mind. But how they work that out is going to be as important as anything in the offense this year. And it all works in tandem. We've talked about how important it is for them to figure out the offensive line. Clearly, someone's got to merge at quarterback. But as much as Brian Kelly uses the tight end, you can't just take that part of the offense and say, all right, well, we'll get to that next year when we're better. You've got to maximize it with what you have. And he said, look, we're going to be creative in how we have to do it. I'm going to be fascinated to see how that works out. But someone in that room has got to emerge, and your coach is telling you they're not throwing it away. Like, it's going to be a part of this offense. They're going to have to figure it out, even if it's just being creative the manner in which they do. But they are starting to build at that position moving forward, and it will be a key part of what LSU does. Do you remember? I'll never forget this. Like, look, it was such a joke here for so long that LSU never threw to the tight ends under Les Miles. Do you remember this? I will never, ever, ever in my life, as long as I live, forget this. Les gets fired. The first game under interim ed was against Missouri. Remember, they lose to Auburn. The next week, they're at home against Missouri. Danny Etling starts. And if it wasn't the first play of the game, it was the first series of the game. And I'm sitting in the press box on the west sideline. LSU is going south to north. And Danny Etling throws a pass to Deshaun Smith up the left sideline. And the place erupted. Like, holy hell, they threw the ball to the tight end. I mean, it was one of those, like, excited, sarcastic, elated, all-in-one euphoric moments, just a pass to the tight end, and people went bonkers. That's going to be the norm with Brian Kelly. They're going to use the tight end. How they use it this year, though, is going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out. All right, it's after further review. I got to grab a quick break. We're brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Oh, I had a good day today. All right, I'm going to spill the beans. So Terrio and I today with our partner Richard Tilley went out. We were shooting some new commercials that are going to be coming out. And we hired Will Stout. So Will Stout, of course, who created the greatest hype videos for the greatest college football team ever, is doing freelance work now. And so we said, Will, we want you to produce content for Hudco. So I was up on a roof today over at the Drusilla Shopping Center and at Peyton Murphy's office and over at Catholic High, a lot of different places. And we had Will Stout with us. So I'm so fired up. I don't know what he's going to do. We're giving him kind of free reign, kind of gave him some loose ideas, but Will Stout's going to be producing content for Hudco, and I'm excited to see it. So follow along on all of our social media, Hudco on Facebook or on Instagram, of course, Twitter as well. And look, if you need a roof repair, roof replacement, from the smallest roof repair to the largest commercial job, look, I mean, I've got property managers that have reached out and said, hey, look, we manage all these properties. We'd love you to put bids in on these jobs that we have. We can absolutely do it, no matter how big or small, whatever the surface as well. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com, a Louisiana-owned and operated company which employs Louisiana people, uses Louisiana products, Louisiana to our core. That's Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC. Taylor Calandro with Bourbon Dictionary in about 15 minutes from right now. More watch list. I want to talk about LSU's specialists coming up in hour number 2. Graff is here in hour number 3, giving us a Saints camp report. We got so much to do on a hump day, and glad you're here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
The best things in summer are unofficial. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front to Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
How about this? Matt Corral says he regrets going to Ole Miss. One of the greatest players in history at Ole Miss. They won 10 games in the regular season last year, which is the first time that happened in the history of that program. A guy who decided to go out and play in the bowl game with nothing to gain from a draft standpoint, but just wanted to be out there with his guys, and actually got injured his ankle in the bowl game. I maintain that Ole Miss would have beaten Baylor in the Sugar Bowl had Matt Corral been healthy for that game. But Matt Corral was at Panthers training camp on Tuesday and said, quote, "I took the easy way out because I felt I could play right away. Knowing what I know now and trusting my instincts and trusting my work ethic, I would have went to a place that would have made me compete." Interesting. So he did say he texted Lane Kiffin immediately after to say it's not what he meant by it. And look, Kiffin clarified to say he was in the competition. So you're not going to say everything right being a rookie in the NFL. I think we kind of understand what Corral was saying, though. It's interesting the way he worded it, but I think it also underscores one of the reasons why a year ago I was bullish on Matt Corral and why I continue to be bullish on Matt Corral. Sometimes you just know when you see a guy that other dudes are going to line up to play for. They're going to run through a wall for that guy, and I think Corral's one of them. We'll see if his size and skill set will be translatable to the NFL for longevity. All that remains to be seen, and I don't know. But the intangibles are there for that guy, and I get it. That's an interesting thing for him to have said there. Ole Miss is an interesting one this year. Obviously they'll play in Baton Rouge. We were talking in the break because coming up in hour number 3, we are going to talk about Vegas, which is interesting. Vegas is drawing a lot of money on LSU to win the national title, which makes sense because there's such a long shot. And you look at an historic brand that won a title a couple of years ago, and you have a coach that's been super successful, so you take a flyer on LSU, right? That makes sense. What was very interesting, though, is the sports book director at Circa clarified what their number is, what they feel their number actually is on LSU, and it's not the number they have posted. It's lower. So we're going to get to that in hour number 3, but Muse and I were talking. It's one of those things where, you could theoretically look at LSU and say the only games that they'll be favored will be the home games against the Mississippi schools. Now, they're an early favorite against Florida State, to be clear, but I'm talking conference games. They certainly will be a home underdog to Alabama and could be. It's a virtual pick 'em in that Tennessee game right now. So you see how a season plays out, and these are just odds makers. I just think LSU is going to be in a lot of 50-50 games this year, and they are going to be one of the more fascinating teams to see how those 50-50 games fall. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com. A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. It's once weekly treatment via injection. It is so affordable. I'll tell you, my treatment is $35 a week, and it has transformed my life. I sleep better at night. I wake up with more energy. When I work out, I have better results. I can push through. You want 10 reps, I'll give you 12. It's a more youthful, energetic feeling, and so many times you don't even know you feel bad until you start feeling good again. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate. TheAntiAgingClinics.com, TheAntiAgingClinics.com. All right, we do it every day about this time. A Bourbon Dictionary coming up in less than 5 minutes. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Kentucky Wildcats.
Former 4-star recruit and Lexington native Bo Allen, he announced that he's transferring from Kentucky. So that ends his Kentucky career after appearing in 5 games over 2 seasons. He was Kentucky's number 2 quarterback last year behind Will Levis. He was going to be in a battle with Iowa transfer Deuce Hogan for the backup role this year. Coming out of high school, Allen had offers from Georgia, Michigan, Michigan State, Washington State, West Virginia, Maryland, a whole bunch of Power 5 schools. Hogan, meanwhile, a former 4-star recruit, transferred to Kentucky, and he is now the favorite to be the backup to Will Levis.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Safety Caleb Downs has committed to Alabama, making his commitment via social media on Wednesday. 6 foot, 190-pounder, out of the state of Georgia. He's the number 16 overall player in the country. Chose Bama over Ohio State, Georgia, Notre Dame, North Carolina, and others. He's the second highest-ranked recruit for Bama's class so far, behind only Eli Holstein. Bama's class now, with the commitment from Caleb Downs, jumps into the top 10 of the ESPN rankings.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia flipped a commitment from Yazid Haynes, who decommitted from Penn State just a day ago and now is committed to play receiver at Georgia. He's a 3-star, the number 33 receiver in the country. On the 247 composite, he's the number 635 overall prospect, speedy receiver. He's the 18th commit for Georgia's 2023 class, now the second receiver in the class. He originally committed to Rutgers, decommitted, flipped to Penn State, then decommitted from Penn State and flipped to Georgia. So stay tuned.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And some pretty good news for the baseball Bulldogs. Luke Hancock announced that he is returning to Starkville for a 5th season. He'll take advantage of the COVID year. Hancock presumably returning to be the starting catcher. He was brought to Mississippi State to play catcher, switched to DH, and then to first base. He started every game in their national championship season. Hancock's gone undrafted the last 2 seasons, so back for one more year with the Bulldogs. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them. GCOPnet.com. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the LSU Tigers, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. All right, we'll knock out our final break of hour number 1. Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro is next. Get your booze questions in. It's AFR.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds and remind you about Clegg's Nursery, where if you want to beautify your outdoor space, Clegg's can make it happen. You want gorgeous, colorful flowers to add to your flower bed or your patio pots, Clegg's has got them. Maybe you need things like potting soil or mulch. They got it by the bag or in bulk at any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. Johnny Naylor's seeds, they got them. And remember, at True Value Hardware Store, anything you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll find at Clegg's. So you need duct tape or floodlights, hammers, nails, bug spray, they got it. Spartan mosquito eradicators, which I tell you all the time, if mosquitoes are just annoying the heck out of you in your outdoor space, don't worry about it. For $30, a Spartan mosquito eradicator will knock it out 30 days at a time. Go to Clegg's Nursery. Seagoneer Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every day, buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. You know the drill. Get your booze questions in for Taylor Calandro. How are you, dude?
Oh, I just walked into my house and it was like 100 degrees.
What?
Yeah, I've been in the attic.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Got an AC problem, so I'm thinking about whiskey.
Call River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I'll give you it's 752-0001. You really should call them if you're having an issue. Hey,
I will. I was gonna ask you that anyway.
752-0001. Give them a All right. They'll be their lickety split. Hey, what's new?
Man, well, we didn't have a show last week. We are getting a Maker's Private Select pick in the next week or so.
Okay.
We are also getting a Penelope Toasted Barrel Select pick in the next week or so as well. Tomorrow we're going to be getting Atticus Atlas from Parish Brewing, which is a triple IPA. It's one of their most popular releases every year. And we're getting Coconut Juice from Gnarly Barley tomorrow, too. That's also a good little local release beer-wise.
You say Coconut Juicifer?
Yeah, you've never had Coconut Juicifer?
No. Granted, I mean, you're a huge beer guy. I'm still relatively new into craft beer, so I've tried IPAs. I just don't. I try to explore more, but I just don't know a ton about it.
To be fair, Coconut Juicifer started at the brewery, and I think they were just selling out of the brewery only for a while. They started shipping it out like a year ago, seasonally, a year or two ago. So, I mean, it's fairly new to the market, to be fair.
What was the other one that you mentioned that you're getting from Parish?
Atticus Atlas. It's got a malt. So the Atticus Atlas is the largest malt in North America, I think. It's got a malt on the label. It's the malt beer from Parish. Triple IPA.
I'm sorry, you said moth, like the little...
Moth.
Yeah.
Atticus Atlas moth, like a flying insect.
Yes, an insect. Okay, an insect beer. Erica would never buy that because when Erica buys me beer, she only picks cute cans. Honest to goodness, that's
super cute. And it's scientific. She can learn.
Nope. If it was an insect, she's not buying it, so I'd have to buy it for myself. That's how that would roll.
If you like IPAs, you need to try it. It's a 9%er. It'll get you rolling. It's fantastic.
I do. I like IPAs, and I think Parish does great stuff, so I would love to try it. I absolutely will. All right, if you got a question for Taylor, fire away. Email us, tweet us at Matt Moscona.
Hey, Twitter world.
You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat or text me in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Okay. Ask Taylor, $150 to spend, 4 bottles or less for a good starter bourbon kit. What you got?
$150 or less. Let's see. Let's start with just a normal rye, like a Sazerac rye.
Okay, it's what, 27? Let's say $30.
That's $30. Moving on to just like a standard everyday bourbon, something like a Knob Creek, or I'm trying to think of something else in that range. But anyway, like a Knob Creek, just for a standard bourbon in the $40 or $50 range, and then some lagniappe after that, I guess. I mean, you only need a rye and a bourbon to start your bar, and then everything else, it just kind of falls into place. You can get real weird with whiskey. So there's endless possibilities for $150.
Here's one that says, "Ask Taylor, good suggestion on Old Granddad 114." So, well, he's saying, "Thank you, it's great value." What was your thoughts on Old Granddad 114?
I've talked about it on the show before. For under $30, it might be a touch over now, and it's kind of allocated too right now too, just to tell people that. But it's fantastic. I love it. I love higher proof bourbons. It's a good full flavored bourbon for not a lot of money.
Dustin asks if you sell kegs at your store.
We don't sell kegs. Like, I don't market it, but if somebody reaches out to me, I will get people kegs. So
okay.
Yes.
Kyle said, probably a long one to answer, but is there anything in the $100 to $200 range that's hard to get that I shouldn't pass up if I see it?
Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
Well,
I'm trying to think.
No, I mean,
because most things that are hard to get don't sit.
Right, they're allocated, so you're not going to just see them sitting there. This is over 200, but I have seen, like, on the shelf, the Four-Gate trilogy, which we actually had at Oliver Twist a few weeks ago as the break-even pick, which was amazing to be able to do that, to try all three, for a dirt cheap price, which was awesome. But like, you will see those sometimes, and like, I'm very partial to the Kentucky Owl age-stated rye, like the 11-year rye. And I mean, that's pushing $200, but you will see it on the shelf at times. I think y'all have even had it on the shelves at times.
Yeah, and I'll add one. I know it's very hard to find, and people are going to laugh at this, but Old Carter
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
it's a $200 bottle you could trip over, and I don't suggest you passing it up. Everything I've tried from them is outstanding.
It's higher proof. It's very hot, but I think I got a bottle of Old Carter, maybe even from you all at Calandro's. Let's see.
I love it.
Here's one that said, please ask Taylor about Bijou.
Bijou. So that's an Asian. I mean, what does he want to know about it? I'm confused.
What do you think?
It's Indian. It is very licoricey. I think man, I've had that one time. I don't really know. It's not good.
It's absolutely dreadful. We tricked T-Bob with it at Scone and Tea the other night. I got 3 seconds. That's Taylor Calandro.
All right, Matt.
AFR.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. You know, at GMFS, they do it all, and they do it better than anyone. Voted among the best places to work in Baton Rouge by in the best of 225 in the Baton Rouge Business Report, GMFS Mortgage. Check them out online at gmfsmortgage.com. Find a local loan officer near you. Do you realize they're among the top USDA lenders in the country? Number 1 in Louisiana, number 11 in the nation among USDA lenders. Incredible. That's why I always say they're Louisiana's largest local lender. So you get the access and the support of a company that does enormous business, but they're local. Their loan officers are right here. You're not calling a loan officer in Chicago that's proving you over the phone. Like, you can meet face-to-face with your local loan officer that wants to be your lender for life. It's GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com since 1999. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not 1, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the Biden administration offered a deal to Russia weeks ago. The hope is the deal will bring jailed Americans Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan home. Griner has been held since February. Baseball's trade deadline just 6 days away. Could the Angels trade Shohei Ohtani? ESPN's Jeff Passan.
Frankly, I think there is as good, if not better, argument to move Ohtani than there is to move Soto. But I just don't see the Angels doing that at this point, even if it would be what's best for them long term.
Jeff Passan on Barton Hahn. Saints wideout Michael Thomas on the practice field today for the first time in 18 months. He's had multiple surgeries on his left ankle.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Overrated, underrated, bottom of this hour. 1 hour from right now, Todd Graffagnini will be with us. Graff pulling some double duty, working Saints camp. So we'll get a Saints camp report from Graff 1 hour from right now, as you heard in Sports Center. And as we open the show, Michael Thomas, who was supposed to start camp on the PUP list, did practice today. Great to see 13 out there for the first time in nearly 2 years, running around with his teammates, getting ready to go for the start of this 2022 season, as the Saints are one of the more fascinating teams in the NFL, because you are not going to get a great consensus on them. And when you look at the win total, they are smack dab hovering around 500. And this is a team that you could make a strong case on either side. You could make a strong case to say, hey, man, you lose a Hall of Fame coach in Sean Payton, you are grossly underestimating his value. We saw that in 2012. Bounty Gate rolled around, do your job banner, thought they had everything in line, great player leadership with Drew Brees, and they were 7-9. Flip side of it is, a year ago, you were 9-8. You should have been in the playoff, despite starting more different players than any team in the history of the NFL, despite playing half a season with Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian as your quarterback, playing a Monday Night Football game with Ian Book as your starter, missing essentially your entire offensive line and your two best offensive players for chunks of the season, and Thomas the entire season. So there's a lot of reason to like the Saints, and if you want to fall on the other side, there's reasons to be pessimistic about them as well. So they are certainly one of the more interesting teams in the entire NFL this year. Same can be said for the LSU Tigers. Brian Kelly at Rotary on Wednesday was asked about the schedule for his team right now, what they've been doing leading up to the start of camp, which is a little more than a week away.
This is the time of season that we get so excited about. Our staff is in. We've begun meetings. Our players are on a bit of a respite. They had been training all summer, We've given them a little time off for those that are not in summer school right now, so they can get ready for the long season.
One of those players getting ready who was not here in the spring is punter Jay Bramblett. And today, the Ray Guy Award watch list was released. Of course, the Ray Guy Award goes to the best punter in college football, and Jay Bramblett was on it. So LSU's punter, Jay Bramblett, who has not kicked a single ball as an LSU Tiger in a game or in a practice formally, because he was not here for spring as he was finishing the spring semester in South Bend. Jay Bramblett is on the Ray Guy watch list. And by the way, he absolutely deserves to be on the Ray Guy watch list. He's been Notre Dame's starting punter for 3 years. And in those 3 years, Jay Bramblett has been one of the best punters in college football. Last year was his best season as a junior. Averaged 43.1 yards per punt on 58 punts. He was fantastic. Having Jay Bramblett gives me a ton of confidence in the punting unit going into this season. Remember, not only are you replacing all of your specialists, you're replacing your punter, your place kicker, and your kickoff specialist. Also, your primary return specialists and your special teams coordinator, who Greg McMahon was, I would argue, 1-for-1 the best coach on LSU's team last year. Like, if you look at every single position group, every coach on LSU staff last year to this year, I would argue LSU upgraded everywhere except Corey Raymond in the secondary. It's no disrespect to Kerry Cooks. It's just Corey Raymond was the godfather of DBU. And Greg McMahon. I mean, Greg McMahon crushed it at LSU. Went and found Cole Tracy. Obviously got Cade York here. Made Zach Von Rosenberg an all-conference player. Avery Atkins was a walk-on who not only handled kickoff duties but punted for you last year. I mean, you won games because of special teams. Many times under Ed Ogeron with Greg McMahon here. So we don't talk about it much, but I am very apprehensive about special teams on this 2022 LSU team. Huge shoes to fill Brian Polian has with replacing Greg McMahon. And then all of the different specialists. You're replacing Avery Atkins as a punter, but that's probably the singular thing that you've got answered because of Bramblett. You bring him in here as a grad transfer from Notre Dame, and you plug and play a dude that's been a 3-year starter and is not going to miss a beat. So that I'm comfortable with. Everything else, I'm nervous, y'all. I'm really worried. Like, I have no idea who LSU's place kicker is going to be. Do you realize, and I want to be clear, 2018, Cole Tracy was incredible. He won games for LSU in 2018. Won the Auburn game. We can run down the list if you want, but you remember many of them, where his consistency built cushions and allowed LSU the opportunity to win games. I'll remind you about the opener in 2018. Remember the opener in 2018? LSU played Miami in Jerry World. Cole Tracy was 4 for 4 on field goals that day with a long of 54 and 3 of 3 on PATs. LSU won by 16 that day. Cole Tracy counted for 15 points. Miami outscored LSU 14-0 in the fourth quarter. Miami made a charge. But the only reason that it just didn't matter was because Cole Tracy just stockpiled points throughout that game. And that was coming off a year in 2017. You remember 17? Connor Culp was 20 of 23 on PATs. And Connor Culp and Jack Gonsolin combined to go for 59% on field goals. Culp was 11 of 16. Gonsolin was 5 of 11. Ed Ogeron was spooked by the end of the season. Didn't know whether to attempt a PAT or kick a field goal. I mean, just didn't know what to do. I mean, the way he handled the end of the Notre Dame game and the bowl game was miserable because he didn't trust his kickers. And so you go from that in 2017, which was dreadful, to Cole Tracy in 2018. But then remember what happened at the start of 2019. And Cole Tracy sat in the chair right next to me. I've referenced this too many times. you've heard this before, so forgive me if you have, but if you haven't, you'll hear it again. If you haven't, you'll hear it now. If you've heard it, you'll hear it again. Cole Tracy sat right next to me. At the start of the 2019 season, you had Cade York, who was having some struggles early. And Cole Tracy sat right there in our studio and said, don't worry about Cade York. When he leaves here, he will be the best kicker in LSU history. And he's right. So there's two parts of that. Number one, you could sit here and say, well, look, you can transition from Cole Tracy to a guy who was the best kicker in LSU history. So any one of these guys could be kicking for LSU, could have an amazing year. You went from an awful season in 2017 to Cole Tracy. You found a dude that was nails. So it can certainly happen. The flip side of that is Cole Tracy needing to sit there and say that was because even the guy who became the greatest kicker in LSU history, Cade York, struggled early. So I'm terrified about special teams. LSU is going to play in so many games that are going to be coin flip games this year. They're going to be heavily favored in their non-conference games except Florida State. They're going to be an underdog to Alabama. And every other game is going to be a coin flip game. Like, you're going to see point spreads within a field goal for like every other game LSU plays. One way or the other, LSU favored or an underdog within a field goal. And when you play that many games that are a coin flip, special teams oftentimes is the differentiator. I'm thrilled LSU's got Jay Bramblett because if it becomes field position games, you trust that guy. Coffin corner kicks, booming punts, flipping field position. How important was Brad Wing in 2011? Think about the Bama game. The 72-yard punt, whatever he had, that hit the wire. Flip the field, punting out of his end zone. Y'all understand it. You know football. But if you got to have the kick in the fog against Florida to beat the Gators in Gainesville, is one of these guys going to make it? I don't know. That's the unsettling thing. That's the unnerving thing. If you have to have the punt return like DJ Chark had against Auburn in 2017 that sparked the comeback for that improbable win, the largest comeback in an SEC game for LSU in Tiger Stadium history, do you have it? I don't know. It's the thing we're not talking enough about. We're talking about quarterbacks. We're talking about offensive line. We're talking about linebacker. We're talking about which of the transfers are going to win the jobs at cornerback. And I get it. All those are big name spots in the marquee, and I understand why we're spending a lot of time on it. The thing we're not spending enough time on, and hopefully LSU is, and they get answers to the affirmative, is special teams. Jay Bramblett, Ray Guy watch list, deservedly so. I think he's going to have a great year. Everything else in special teams, that's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. All right, it's after further review. Really good day today. Hope you had a great day as well. Remember, you can catch us on demand at 1045ESPN.com. AFR On Demand. If you're trying to get the podcast, I've mentioned this a few times, and a lot of you keep asking. We are just having an issue with the redirect to Apple. So if you listen to AFR On Demand on Apple Podcasts, we apologize. Apple's aware of it. It just turns out Apple's a really big company, and so our podcast isn't exactly like the top of their things we care about list. But I'm sure they'll get to it eventually. But we are on Spotify. So Spotify, all the episodes are uploaded on Spotify and at 1045ESPN.com. So if you want to catch AFR On Demand, you can catch all the episodes, Spotify or our website, while we wait on the redirect from Apple to get fixed. So we apologize for that. All right, it's after further review. A scone and tea tonight from Oliver Twist, 7 to 8 p.m. No T-Bob tonight, so apologize for that, but T will be back. He did something, he and his wife had something planned for tonight, so I'd been planned long in advance. So T will be back next week, but we're still going to roll with the pod tonight. We'll look forward to it. All right, it's after further review, overrated, underrated, bottom of this hour. Stick around, it's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital. I want you to think about the Baton Rouge General whenever you're thinking about healthcare, because whatever it is that you may need, the Baton Rouge General can fill that need. Of course, the Pennington Cancer Center, hopefully you never have to deal with any cancer services in your life, but the Pennington Cancer Center at the Baton Rouge General is an amazing resource. If it's emergency care, you can choose which emergency room you go to. Remember, the emergency room at the Mid-City location has reopened. The Burn Center there at the Mid-City location. The Bluebonnet campus, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, has an emergency room there as well. So if you're in Ascension Parish, you have an emergency room closer to you now than ever before. And we tell you all the time, of course, about the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations for those everyday sniffles and sneezes, aches and colds and breaks. The Baton Rouge General Urgent Care locations, Express Care locations are there for you as well. Learn more at brgeneral.org. That's brgeneral.org.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside, off the bench, Hunt and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
A little update on Pelicans rookie E.J. Liddell. Had the really unfortunate injury in Summer League when they were playing the Hawks in Las Vegas on July the 11th. I mean, we all saw it. Tore his ACL. He had right ACL reconstruction surgery to repair those torn knee ligaments. So out indefinitely, but he had the surgery yesterday. The team announced this on Tuesday. So Liddell most definitely will miss his rookie season. But 6'6" forward from Ohio State, second-round pick, taken 41 overall. Reminded you at the time of the draft why a lot of people were excited about this. Jonathan Givony from Draft Express and ESPN had Liddell a first-round pick, had him somewhere in the 20s, and dropped all the way to 41. So there was a lot of excitement around Liddell, who averaged nearly 20 points and 8 rebounds a game for the Buckeyes last year. Veteran guy through 3 seasons at Ohio State. Could have been a two-way guy for the Pels this year. And I hate to say it this way, but it may work out because the Pels likely just didn't have a roster spot for him this year. I mean, things can always happen, and if you play well and you're worthy, you can earn it. But Liddell did have the reconstructive knee surgery, and he'll begin the rehab process and hopefully get back out there with the Pels sooner rather than later. One other quick note here, And thanks again. We had Wes Johnson on the show yesterday, LSU's pitching coach. If you missed that, you can catch it on demand, certainly however you get your podcast, like we talked about, or you can go to yesterday's Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel and the AFR show yesterday. We had Wes Johnson. It was about this time yesterday, about 4:30, middle of hour 2, so right in the middle of the show yesterday. If you want to catch that. But speaking of LSU baseball news, Gavin Dugas. This isn't a surprise, but Gavin Dugas has put on his social media. I saw Leah Van just tweeted this, but Gavin Dugas put it up on his Instagram and other social media. One last ride. So Gavin Dugas officially announcing that he is coming back for his final season in Baton Rouge for the 2023 season. So that's fantastic news for LSU. Dugas battled. God, it was so unfortunate just how he battled injury and when he was rolling. But his reemergence, sort of coinciding with Barry's injury late in the season, was a big boost for the Tigers down the stretch. And of course, Dugas got injured again. But there's things we know about this team. We know Dylan Cruz is going to be the center fielder. We know Pearson's going to have a spot in the outfield. We know Morgan's going to be in the lineup somewhere. Tommy White is very likely going to be your first baseman. I can't see him coming here to DH. He maybe could play on the left side of the infield. But Jordan Thompson's going to be out there as well. When you look to the outfield or left field, DH, potentially first base, maybe second base, which Gavin Dugas has played in his LSU career, they're going to find a spot for him somewhere to get that bat in the lineup. But to have another veteran guy, a guy who this year was wearing the number 8 jersey, that sort of coveted number 8 jersey for a leader, it's a great thing to officially have Gavin Dugas back, although we expected it. So we just got that news, which is fantastic to see. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, shawbillstire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. I tell you, every single day, there's a lot of places that'll sell you tires. The big box stores, the membership clubs, other tire stores, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to sell you the best name brand tires on the road cheaper than Shawbills. BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Firestone, Michelin, they sell the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. So often they'll combine the manufacturer's offer with their own in-house offer to get you the best deal possible. That's Shawbills. Go to shawbillstire.com, hit the promotions tab right there at the top, and you'll see all the great deals that they offer at Shawbills. Shawbillstire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, by the way, so Scone and Tea tonight, 7 to 8 p.m. I did just confirm Will Stout is going to join me at Oliver Twist tonight. Very excited about that. So we'll talk about those 2019 hype videos, what Will is doing now. We'll talk some football as well. So excited about Scone and Tea tonight as T-Bob's out for the night. But also tonight, it's trivia at Pluckers. Pluckers are our title sponsor on our Wednesday Hump Day editions of AFR. And tonight is 90s trivia. So throughout the show today, Muse is going to pepper me with a little 90s trivia. So, Muse, I think I nailed it the first segment, or in the first hour, despite the fact that you threw a lot of BS questions out there at me.
Those were great questions. What are you talking about? They're great.
I mean, I nailed the Whitney Houston Bodyguard, 1992. Got it all.
Kind
You're
of.
like, well, it was a cover of what song? I know about Dolly Parton in the 1950s. It's a 1950s.
Whoa, it's a 1950s Dolly Parton. Calm down now.
1940s.
She's a legend.
1940s. I don't know anything about that. You know what I know about? Glycerine. Know this song. Gavin married Gwen Stefani, and then they got divorced, unfortunately. Now she's married to the guy from the singing show. Blake something
Blake
or other.
Shelton.
Yeah, him.
Yeah,
See?
okay, yeah.
Don't tell
the
me
guy from the singing show. I mean, he's also a pretty well-known country artist.
Don't you tell me I don't know my pop culture, Muse.
He's a pretty
Nobody
successful
knows
country
pop
artist.
culture more than me, Muse. All right, hit me with some 90s trivia.
All right, here you
Muse.
go.
You might have a question like this at Pluckers tonight. All right, go ahead.
Good. So obviously this is a year in the 90s.
Okay.
When was the World Wide Web first introduced?
Well, Al Gore invented the internet. Wasn't that Al Gore invented the internet?
I don't think that happened.
Yeah,
no.
look it up. Look it up. Al Gore invented the internet.
That's not a year. Al Gore's not a year. He's a person and a
I don't even
vice
think you understand.
president.
I don't even think you understand. So that's okay. That was the joke. Al Gore said he invented the internet.
Yeah, but that's what he said. I don't think that had happened.
So let's see. Windows 95 was fire. So let's go. Let's see. The bubble started with 98. Let's say 95. Windows 95.
1991.
I don't believe you.
Well, it says it right here.
I think that's terrible.
What Nickelodeon show?
Okay. Double Dare.
Can I finish the question?
Was it Double Dare?
No.
Oh.
Kick-started the careers of Nick Cannon, Kenan Thompson, and Amanda Bynes.
Good Burger.
Good Burger was a skit on this show. Actually,
yeah.
that was a skit on Keenan and Kel. But
Yeah, no, I don't know. Let's see. We'll say it again. Nick
what
Cannon,
Nickelodeon
Mickey Mouse
show
Clubhouse.
started the careers?
Mickey Mouseketeers.
No.
Damn it.
All that.
I don't know that.
You didn't know? You don't know all that's a... Come on.
I think you missed me there. Was that late night? Maybe late. See, that might have been late.
Maybe
See, that was
late
probably
90s,
late
yeah,
90s. So
maybe.
now you're going kids trivia, late 90s. So you were a child in 99, and
Yeah.
so that might have been something you were watching, where in 99, I was all on TRL, man. I was going to college. Like, I wasn't sitting there watching Nickelodeon. You want to go to Double Dare? All that. So what was the video game where you'd it was a video game show for kids on Nickelodeon? Anyway, someone will remind me. All right, go ahead. Got any more?
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to get you one here.
All right.
Michael Jordan led the Chicago Bulls to how many championships?
Well, there were 6.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. How about this? What classic Audrey Hepburn film was the title of a 1995 one-hit wonder?
I don't know, Audrey Hepburn. Was she Gone with the Wind? Who's Audrey Hepburn?
She was not in Gone with the Wind.
I
but
don't-
it's about the it's
I don't
it's
know
a
Audrey
one-hit
Hepburn.
wonder in
I don't
95.
know, but I have to know who Audrey Hepburn is.
God.
I have to know who Audrey Hepburn is. I don't know who that is. This is 90s trivia. This isn't 1790s
But
trivia.
this is a 1995 one-hit wonder song.
The Macarena. That was 90.
Breakfast at
That was
Tiffany's.
97. I don't know Audrey Hepburn.
But
Now,
you know Breakfast at Tiffany's.
by Deep Blue Something.
There you
You want me
go.
to sing the whole damn thing? I could sing it right now. But I don't know who Audrey Hepburn is.
She's an actress.
Okay, I didn't know that. I know she was in Breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't know anything about
Lord.
that. See, some of your 90s trivia
No.
stuff has crossed eras, so I'm not really into that, Muse. I'm serious. Like when you ask...
The song is literally about the movie.
But I don't know the movie, which was not in the 90s.
Oh, my gosh.
When was the movie? Look
I
up
don't
the
know
movie.
when the movie was
Look
made.
up
It's
the
a
movie.
it's a terrible movie for what it's worth.
You have
Really
the internet
bad.
machine. You have the internet machine right in front of you. Google Breakfast at Tiffany's movie.
Wait, I don't
tell
want
me,
I don't
tell
want the
me
song to
what
run out.
year.
Hold on.
That's okay. We're done with it. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
We're probably going to get banned on YouTube because we just played 3 minutes of Glycerine. So anyway,
good, though.
It was really good. So let me know the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's. When was this? Was it a black and white movie?
No, they had its color.
1960s,
1961.
Okay, 1961.
Terrible movie, by the way.
That's 30 years prior to the decade with which we're talking.
Okay, but the
About
song
which
was
we're talking.
in that decade,
I
and
don't
it's
care.
about the movie.
But your question, you had to understand the context of the movie. I don't know who Audrey Hepburn is. I never seen the movie. So how can I possibly know that that was about? Your questions are bad. If you want good questions, go to Pluckers tonight. Pluckers 90s trivia tonight, 8 o'clock, either location. Spin the prize wheel and win. Muse will have overrated, underrated here in just a quick second. Oh, one other thing. And Graf's going to be with us in 30 minutes because we will have a Saints camp report. And about 45 minutes from right now, I hate to just keep doing tease, but I'm trying to stay on time. Really interesting comments from a Vegas odds maker at Circus Sports about LSU, their win total, and the amount of money coming in on LSU to win the national championship this year. I'm going to get to that in 45 minutes. Speaking of money, Live Golf, they're expanding next year. Did you see this, by the way? So Live Golf, next year, they're going to expand the schedule to 14 tournaments. They played 8 this year. The 48 players are competing for $405 million in purses. They're increasing the total purse amount by $150 million year to year. It's incredible. The reason startup leagues fail, there's one singular reason. They don't have enough money to sustain, to build enough brand equity and fan support and all that sort of stuff to last. Live Golf has the money, and they're going to keep spending the money that they'll never run out of, which is why this is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I gave you the comp initially. Live Golf is like bowl opt-outs. Initially, Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey, the bowl opt-outs, they were pariahs. Oh, you're a quitter. You quit on your team. You quit in the season. Quit. It was a quitter. Now, it's just understood. It's not worth it for guys to run the risk to play in an awful, meaningless bowl game and put their future in jeopardy. So it's just understood now. Same thing with Live Golf. Everyone wanted to call him whatever name you wanted because of the Saudi money and whatever. But the more and more guys that keep making this jump, the less and less you're going to hear that. And it's becoming more and more regular, and they keep raising the purses. You're going to see more and more guys go play. So get used to hearing Live Golf. It is going absolutely nowhere. Increasing the purses by $150 million. $450 million in total purses up for grabs next year in Live Golf. All right, it's after further review. We'll do overrated, underrated when we come back. Tigers and the pros, Graph in 30 minutes. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Shoots Electric, CES of LA.com. Have you called them yet? CES of LA.com. Why are you waiting? Storm season is upon us, and at any point a storm could come into the Gulf. Or if it's not even a named storm, it could be like just what happened last Friday where bad weather blew through, knocked the power out in parts of southeast Baton Rouge, and I was in that number. No worries, though. Power went out. Our whole home generator from Shoots Electric came on immediately, and we had our whole home running. AC as it got hot throughout the day, refrigerator, all of it, the entire home running on a whole home generator. I'm telling you, the thing that'll blow your mind is how affordable a whole home generator really is. As technology's gotten better, the prices have come down, kind of like TVs, and also financing is available. So if you want to finance it, it becomes even more affordable for you and your family. CESofLA.com. Shoots Electric, they're just the best. Install a whole home generator today from Shoots Electric. CESofLA.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Blessed, man, and grateful. Grateful to be back out here with this team. Grateful for another opportunity to come out here and play some football.
Jameis Winston. I wonder if Breakfast at Tiffany's was on his playlist earlier today. I'm not sure if you knew this, but that's a song named after a movie starring Audrey Hepburn, which was released back in 1961.
You got your what you learned for the day. How about that?
Writing it down right now. Let's see. Breakfast at Tiffany's 1961. Got it. 90s trivia tonight at Pluckers. We're going to get to overrated, underrated in just a quick second. Saints opened up training camp. Graf in 25 minutes from right now. We'll go through a full training camp report. Winston was out there. No limitations. That was great to see. Same with Michael Thomas. One of the really cool things about Jameis, though, is he has really embraced the leadership role. We've seen that a ton from leading classroom work. He also took a bunch of the guys and went on a trip to throw. And you see that often, right? Teammates will go and they'll to a different part of the country, and they'll do workouts together. Here was Jameis talking about those workouts with his teammates.
3 days. I didn't want to tax them out, man. That was for togetherness, right? That was for us to get together, bond together, get some work together, go over a few details, right? That's why I had the other quarterbacks there, right? That was for all of us, man. It was for us to be in the heat in Miami, right? How can we kind of get that same feel, but actually have a beach to go to after we work out, So it was fun, but we got some great work, and we got better.
I don't know if Jameis Winston's going to be an all-pro this year. I don't know if he'll be a Pro Bowler. I don't know if he'll throw for 5,000 yards, what kind of season he's going to have. But I'm going to have fun watching him because it feels like we have been talking about this for like 3 years now, and we kind of have been. From when he was released in Tampa, signed with New Orleans, he backed up Drew Brees. He was going to be the guy last year. They started 5-2. He gets the injury. Were they going to go to Deshaun Watson? Were they going to re-sign him? Will they bring back Winston? Now he's the guy, and he's fully embraced it. I mean, he has gone through a hell of a time the past 2 seasons trying to overcome being cast away in Tampa, being Drew Brees' backup, starter again, then injured, and now healthy again with an opportunity and a full arsenal at his disposal. Because even if he had stayed healthy the whole year, he didn't have Michael Thomas, he didn't have Chris Olave, he didn't have Jarvis Landry, Alvin Kamara was injured for a chunk of the season, he had a banged-up offensive line. It feels like, all right, you got a loaded gun. Let's go see how it looks this year. So I'm as excited. Look, I mean, y'all know I'm as freaking crazy a Saints fan as you'll find anywhere. I also like to think that when I sit in this chair, I can be objective about things. But I am very interested and excited to see what a full 17 games of Jameis will look like in a healthier environment than what he had in Tampa. All right, it's after further review. Okay. We'll get back to the Saints talk in about 23 minutes. Graf will be here, full Saints report. Vegas, odds makers peek behind the curtain at LSU this year. I think you're going to find this interesting. That's coming up next hour as well. Right now, though, we do it every Wednesday on the show. We call it Overrated, Underrated.
Overrated or underrated?
I personally think he's criminally underrated.
Presented by Cellivate. Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement.
Get it primed, get it ready. Oh, yeah. Does that really do anything? I think we've talked about that before.
I think we had this conversation once before.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
Was. We didn't get to do it last week, so.
It's true. I was in the ATL. Probably could have used about 10 of these.
Atlanta.
Man, tell you what. SEC Media Days. It is a 4-day sprint, brother. I'm going to tell you that.
Yes, indeed. Overrated or underrated pontoon boat?
Underrated. Most people, when they think about water sports or being on the water, you want the motorboat so you can water ski and you can pull a raft and all that stuff, the big tubes. I tell you, you can open up a pontoon boat on a lake and still do the ski, and maybe not as fast as a speedboat, but you can still pull the raft and have a good time with all that stuff. And the pontoon boat is just more comfortable. You kind of spread out. You have your ice chest in it. It's a more comfortable experience. You want to just sort of float around the water and jump off the boat. It's easier to get into as well. Pontoon boat, underrated.
Overrated or underrated? The 3-point shot.
So that's a really good question. And that's sort of an existential question here. I'm going to say that the 3-point shot is underrated. And I'm not being contradictory here. There's some people who would like to say, oh, the 3-point shot has ruined basketball. No. 3-point shot has taken basketball. The 3-point shot, along with television, are the two things that have transformed basketball. There was a day where if you talk to people not much older than me, talk to Hanny and Ott, right? I mean, both those guys are about 10 years older than me. They'll tell you about watching the NBA Finals on tape delay because the NBA Finals weren't even live. It's the NBA Finals, not that much longer than I was born, you know? I'm 40. But the 3-point shot changed floor spacing, it changed tempo, it changed the excitement in the game. Comebacks are more likely because you can knock down a 3-point shot. And I think we're headed to a 4-point shot, by the way. I think in my lifetime, we'll see a 4-point shot.
You think just maybe from a designated spot on the floor? You think it's just another line?
Another line.
Another line?
Yep,
okay.
4-point shot. I think we'll see it.
Overrated or underrated? Tom Hanks.
Properly rated. Greatest actor of his generation. He's done comedy. He's done dramatic acting. He's done voice acting. Tom Hanks is in the pantheon. There's no one that disagrees on Tom Hanks. He's properly rated.
Overrated or underrated? Champagne.
So do you like champagne?
Not particularly.
Paul, you're not a big drinker to begin with. Do you like champagne?
It's okay.
Okay.
Mimosa's fine. Champagne by itself, not really.
So I likely would have often said the same thing. It wouldn't have been my favorite. But going to Napa, like when Eric and I did for our 10th anniversary this past year, and we did visit Domaine Carneros, which is known for the bubbles, one of the top wineries for all the bubbles. I really grew a great appreciation for it. Most people I think don't like champagne because it can tend to be dry. But did you know that champagne actually is only from the Champagne region in France? So if it's not from Champagne, France, it's not actually champagne. So you might get Prosecco or something else that's the bubbles. But champagne is only from France. Champagne, underrated.
Underrated.
Yeah, underrated.
Overrated or
unless if you're in Vegas, because then they're going to charge you like $5,000 for a bottle of Dom, and that's just absurd.
Everything's more expensive in Vegas.
Yeah, but that's absurd.
Overrated or underrated? Bowling.
Try to think of what people think of bowling. I'm going to say bowling also is properly rated. You walk into a bowling alley, it suits a certain demographic. It's about right. About right.
Okay. You get a pitcher of beer.
Yeah, I can drink beer a lot of places.
You can. Okay.
The only place where I'm good with bowling at this point in my life is when I'm watching The Big Lebowski. That's about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't bring me to a bowling alley. All respect to anybody who's listening who owns or operates a bowling alley or likes bowling. I have no interest. I'm good.
That's overrated.
If I'm going to the bowling alley because the kids want to bowl, Uncle Matt's just going to sit at the table in the back.
A birthday party.
Uncle Matt's just going to hang at the table in the back and drink some beer.
Why does every bowling alley have like the same exact carpet?
Great question.
They all have the same carpet. Is there just one special manufacturer who specializes in bowling alley carpet?
I think it's probably because bowling alleys were popular like in the 70s when that was the design. They just haven't been updated since.
It's on the walls too.
Everywhere.
It's ceiling.
It's making it sound.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You just hear the ball rolling.
It's
down.
absorbing the sound a little better, so you don't just hear like ear-splitting sounds pinging off the walls all the time. Yeah, not into bowling. No thanks.
That's overrated or underrated?
Presented by Celevate. Don't just hydrate. You know what to do. Celevate. Get you some Celevate at Celevate.com. Feel the boost. Feed the body with Celevate. Celevate. Celevate.com. Available in Baton Rouge at the Matherns right there by campus, and at Rouse's all over the place, but not in Baton Rouge, oddly enough. I know they're working on it. Supply chain. That's what we're just going to blame it on supply chain. That's the Mandarin Orange there, Muse. It's a good one. All right. We're not got a quick break. Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2, and we'll get a full camp report from Graff here in about 15 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers. Tonight, trivia. Tonight and every Wednesday at Pluckers. Tonight, 90s trivia at Pluckers, as you might have heard us mention a few times throughout the show today. So get your team together. Get on by. 8 o'clock, live action trivia gets started. Get your team together. Eat wings, drink beer, win Pluckers gift cards. And remember now, it's a prize wheel. So whenever you win, you get to spin the prize wheel and you get the prize on the wheel associated at Pluckers. Always great gifts from Pluckers, and there will be other prizes as well still to come that'll be building each week as it moves along. So if you love to play trivia, get your team together. Remember, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, both locations, Nicholson and Bluebonnet. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. But if you want to play some trivia tonight, dine in at either Pluckers location. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Ice cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Vizzy, the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. Vizzy, step up your seltzer game.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Brian Kelly was at Rotary today. In just a second, we'll let you hear what he had to say about his quarterbacks less than a week before they open up camp. Right now, though, Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Yeah, former Tigers that are really rich now. Devon Gottschall falls into that category.
Oh, really?
Adam Schefter and others reporting that Patriots defensive tackle Deshaun Gottschall has signed a 2-year, $20.8 million extension with the Patriots. That includes $17.85 million fully guaranteed at signing.
Look at
Gottschall spent his first 4 years with the Dolphins and 1 season with New England last year. 65 tackles, 2 of them for a loss, a sack, and a forced fumble.
From Plaquemine proud. Came to LSU as a defensive and in high school. Played tackle as a true freshman coming off a torn ACL in 2014 and balled out. Congrats.
And now $20 million.
Awesome. How
about
Congrats.
that? Aaron Nola last night. The Braves finally got him. He had a lot of success against them, but they finally got him. 6 innings, 5 earned runs, a walk, 7 strikeouts, 92 pitches, 65 strikes. The Phillies weren't going to score enough runs anyway, though, so, it was kind of just a no-win situation.
How
for
did
Aaron.
the St. Michael's kids fare in the show last night, Deuce?
Whoa, what is this hostility? I didn't say anything bad about Aaron Nola. I love Aaron Nola.
Shut up.
One player from the last decade I'd take back immediately.
Your face is
Alex Lang got back on the right track last night after a couple of rough outings. 1 shutout inning. Perfect baseball, as a matter of fact, with a strikeout. 13 pitches, 9 of them for strikes.
At a bit.
Josh Smith. Started at third base for the Rangers last night. Turned in a 1-for-2 night with a single. Average sits at 214. That one slump kind of hurt him, but he's picking it back up, so we like that. And then tonight in the show, Kevin Gausman will be on the bump for the Toronto Blue Jays as they host the St. Louis Cardinals, matching up against Adam Wainwright, ageless wonder. Gausman 7-7 on the year with an even 3 ERA, 99 innings pitched, 116 punch-outs, 18 walks.
Isn't there an LSU guy with the Padres right now?
There is, but he didn't have a great night, so I wasn't going to mention it, so I didn't get accused of...
What's his name?
His name's Austin Nola.
Oh, Callahan!
Okay, yeah. He wore the collar. I didn't really want to go there.
Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, where Baton Rouge has gone to get engaged for 40 years. Go to the website. You'll see the engagement tab on the left side. Beautiful diamonds. You can learn more about all the different things that go into selecting great diamonds, from the cut and the setting and everything. It's all right there. Or you can just go see our friends at Lee Michaels. 2 locations in Baton Rouge. Corporate in Bocage, Mall of Louisiana. Gentlemen, be a hero. Thrill her with that diamond that she will just smile at every time she sees for the rest of her life. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where you always get the Lee Michaels experience. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Brian Kelly today at Rotary talked about his quarterbacks here, about a week off from the start of camp.
Yeah, well, we got plenty of them. So we put a suggestion box down here. If you could leave your suggestion on the way out. We have 4 quarterbacks. They all have great traits, but different traits. We'll have to use this camp to really, vet that out and give them the opportunity to separate themselves from each other. So as we're sitting in the offensive staff meeting, you can understand in the spring we laid down the offense for the first time. So it was installation of an offense, generically speaking, and it wasn't set up for any one quarterback. We're going to have to set up now in preseason camp particular plays for the skill set of that quarterback.
People often say, do do they really have a starter in mind? They just haven't named him yet. And I think sometimes that is the case. I do believe sometimes coaches feel like they know who their starter is going to be. They just haven't named the starter. I don't think that's the case with this staff. And in part because it's a new staff. Sometimes you feel like they know who the starter is going to be, but it's coaches that have been there and they're familiar with the players and they have an inkling of how it's going to go. I don't think that's the case here. When Brian Kelly showed up, his head was swimming. Remember when he arrived in December, it was full-on sprint to put together a roster. And then you went right into spring and it was just install your offense. And then now with camp, I think they're going to start to see what specifically they can magnify out of those skill sets of those quarterbacks to see what's going to give them the best chance to win. I legitimately believe they don't know who their starter is going to be. Maybe they have an idea of what they'd like to see, but they're going to have to see it in camp. So I think I believe him. I genuinely do believe him. I also like how he had the joke at the beginning. The Rotary is just a friendly room, right? I mean, you're playing to the crowd. It's a friendly crowd. It's fans. You can be a little loose and fun. And I thought Brian Kelly did a really good job of that today. All right, Todd Graffagnini, radio voice of the Pels, who is pulling double duty, covering the Saints right now at camp. He's going to join us right after SportsCenter to give us a Saints camp report from day one.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com because I love telling you about great people that do great work. And that is the quintessential definition of what Brandon and Adrian Holly have built at Relief Windows. Brandon Holly always says it's his name, it's his legacy. So he is just going to make sure that he will go to the end of the earth to make customers happy. That's why he will never take $1 from you until you're thrilled with the work they do. Think about that. They take all of the risk up front. Custom windows. If it don't fit or you don't like it, guess what? They're out of pocket for the custom windows they had built for your home. But that's just the level, the degree to which Brandon Holly will go to make sure you're thrilled. ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank or vinyl siding. There's just no one else to call or to go by their now-opened showroom at the new Relief Windows corporate headquarters and showroom on Airline Highway in Prairieville. ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Biden administration offers a deal trying to bring Brittany Griner and another American, Paul Whelan, home from Russia. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the offer was made weeks ago, and he expects to speak with his Russian counterpart perhaps next week for the first time since the invasion of Ukraine. Steelers captain Cameron Hayward didn't care too much for Ben Roethlisberger's recent comments about the presence of too many me-first players in the NFL.
And they rub me the wrong way. Ben is a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he has played 18 years in our league, all with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was a little bit upset about it because I was always raised to protect the locker room, protect the guys.
That's from the Not Just Football with Cam Hayward podcast. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Patriots defensive lineman Devon Godshaw signs a 2-year extension worth almost $21 million. Mets right-hander Jacob deGrom makes another rehab start today. The plan right now is for his next appearance to be his season debut for the Mets.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote Renter's Insurance at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You should. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Vegas, what they're really saying about this LSU football team. That's coming up in 15 minutes from right now. Saints hit the practice field for the first time in camp today. Michael Thomas was the big surprise participating. Jameis was a full go. All accounts, it was a good day there on Airline Drive, and our buddy Todd Graffagnini was there. The radio voice of the Pels pulling double duty out there at Saints camp right now. Good enough to join us for a little camp report. Graf, how are you, man?
I am tremendous, Matt. Good to talk to you.
It is always our pleasure. Okay, just let me get a general vibe from you. One day, first day of camp, I get it, but what was the general vibe today?
It was pretty solid considering that Michael Thomas was on the field and nobody who was covering the practice, because remember, there were no fans out there today, Matt. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty much just media. When we all walked onto the practice field, or just outside the practice field at about 9:05 a.m., and, you know, you're trying to scour and see who's there and who's not there, and then all of a sudden you see number 13 on the sideline of one of the fields, and everybody's looking at each other going, is he actually going to do something? And they start doing walkthrough, and the first rep, Jameis Winston throws a quick out to Michael Thomas. We're like, this is for real. He is actually going to practice, which means he's off the PUP list because you can't practice if you're on the PUP list. So that obviously has been the story of the day. As that's just, we heard Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen talk about, well, we don't expect him to be on the PUP list long. Well, we didn't know that 18 hours later that was going to be, no more on the PUP list. So, yeah, that really dominated the day. It was, if you're a Saints fan, it was a very, very good day.
Do you think the Saints knew he was going to practice?
No, he actually had to take a conditioning test this morning, which now he addressed. Now, Michael Thomas talked to the media after, and he said he knew going in that he was going to pass that test. So they might have had an inkling that he could have passed the test, but he knew that he was going to pass it. So, like I said, they mentioned last night that he had a feeling he wasn't going to be on it very long, and he was not.
Graff, it wasn't just Michael Thomas, but, man, Jameis was a go. Taysom Hill was a go. Peyton Turner was out there. Will Lutz. I mean, it kind of felt like they had the band back together. What were your impressions also of the guy? There's always the question about who was there, who wasn't there, sort of the attendance today.
No, look, the only two significant absences, well, Tano Passanio was not there either, but we knew that going in as he was on the non-football illness list. But Pete Werner was working out on the side before the practice started, and everyone was looking at each other like, well, what's going on here? Well, we just found out a little while ago that he got placed on the NFI list. So it didn't appear that anything was seriously wrong with him because he was conditioning before going back in. And Marcus Davenport wasn't out there either, Matt, but we knew that we had a feeling he wasn't going to be out there as well because Mickey and Dennis were talking about him yesterday. And it's more of a precautionary conditioning thing with Davenport. So I wouldn't expect him to be missing a whole lot of time as well. But just to see all those other guys, and you think about it, Marcus May was out there as well, who, of course, tore his Achilles last year with the Jets. He was out there. He participated in most of the drills. Taysom was out there from the get-go, coming off plantar fasciitis. Peyton Turner coming off a shoulder injury last year. He was full go. So it was real. I was thinking about this, Matt, and I'm, kind of just breaking rhythm here.
No, it's fine.
But you think about what happened 363 days ago, and I just looked it up to make sure. When you see the look on Sean Payton's face in the media room the day before training camp starts, and he talks about how Michael Thomas didn't have surgery, and we don't know when we're going to get him back. And look, they'll never admit this, but I think that was one of the building blocks of why Sean Payton ultimately left. I just think he had just had to deal with so much last year. And that was it. But you think of what happened now today and how the Saints are so far ahead of the game as they were 1 year ago when we found out Michael Thomas. I mean, who knew when he was going to come back? And ultimately, he never did come back last year. So just a completely different vibe.
Graff is with us talking about Saints training camp day one. Everyone's going to ask about Olave. And understandably, the ball's going to be his hand. I'm more interested in the other rookie first rounder, Trevor Penning, to see if he can win that left tackle job. How did he look today? How did James Hurst look today?
Hurst is right now the starting left tackle. Penning did okay, but again, they cut practice pretty short, Matt. It supposed was to end at 11:30, and they stopped at 10:30. It was, as Dennis Allen called it, after practice was over, kind of a getting your feet wet type of deal. So we really didn't see a whole lot of team reps. And they weren't even in pads. So it really, anything you could have deciphered from that really wasn't going to be, anything constructive. But look, Penning's going to get his opportunity. There's no doubt about it. And look, a lot, again, you think about Michael Thomas coming back to the football field, Matt, and how the receiver room has completely flipped. You go a year ago, your wide receiver one at this point last year was Marquez Callaway and Deontay Hardy. Those are your top two receivers. Yeah. Well, now, if you could argue, they're your 4 and your 5, along with Traquan Smith, because of Michael Thomas coming in what Chris Olave has already shown in OTAs and minicamp and the first day of training camp. And then, of course, Jarvis Landry, who in my mind was the MVP of minicamp. I mean, he and Alvin Kamara were the best two players on the field during minicamp. And he had the play of the day offensively. Again, one of the few ones we saw. Jameis hit a deep 25-yard slant to Jarvis Landry in stride. And, I mean, you can see Jameis's arm strength. You can see the sure hands of Jarvis Landry. So that receiver room, which was a weakness a year ago, has now become a strength.
Graff, two more things that I wanted to ask about. One in the secondary. With Tyron out, who took his spot? And then also a lot of people have asked about Alontae Taylor and what role he may fill. So who replaced Tyron, and what about Alontae Taylor?
That was May. May was in there today. He was in place of Tyron. So again, it was good to see Marcus May in there, getting some reps in. And again, Alontae is going to be backing up Paulson Adebo, and he'll have some reps behind Marshawn Lattimore. But Adebo and Lattimore are your starters. I mean, there is no doubt about that. They've been in there since minicamp, OTAs. And I would expect Alontae Taylor, again, there have been some comparisons to him with Paulson Adebo, who you could argue was the surprise of the New Orleans Saints last year. I mean, this is a kid who didn't even play his final year at Stanford and then moved into the starting lineup really out of necessity. And in that first game against Green Bay, intercepted Aaron Rodgers, and the Saints blew out the Packers. And, I mean, the rest is history. He had that huge interception the last game against the Falcons, that one-handed pick. So, no, it's going to be interesting. Again, we've been talking about it. The secondary is, you could argue, the deepest position of the team, but don't look past the defensive line as well. You've got some guys there that can really, really play. And with the addition of Peyton Turner, and we saw him coming off the edge a couple times today, had a sack of Ian Book. Again, it's, to me, Matt, it's always going to go back to health. I mean, the Saints have had just really, really bad luck since this run started in 2017, especially going back towards the ends of seasons where, you know, the injury situations kind of derailed them. You go back to last year, 58 different players started a game. It's unprecedented. And they still won 9 games, went through 4 quarterbacks and 4 kickers, and won 9 games.
Will Lutz, it's good to see him back. Hey, before you go, running backs. You got Ingram in the single digit there with 5. Kamara was back, and then of course the rookies as well. And look, they just signed Malcolm Brown. Did you have any thoughts on the running backs today?
Yeah, Kamara was out there, you know, caught some passes, ran a few inside, but again, there wasn't just a whole lot of team reps today. But it was interesting listening to Malcolm Brown. He addressed the media after practice, and he was fired up to be a part of it. He knows about the culture of the team, and that really influenced his decision to come here. And of course, Malcolm Brown was a member of the Rams when he came in for that NFC Championship game, and he talked about how loud the Superdome was, and again, he's pretty fired up to be here. So, again, you could not ask for a better first day of camp, and tomorrow they're going to get more into not a 90-minute, but a 2.5-hour practice, and I think the heat's going to take a little bit more of a toll than it did today. So it's going to be a little more real of a practice than it was today. One day closer to the opener. Todd Graffagnini on Twitter at NTGraff, pulling some double duty there with some Saints duties here this year, along with, of course, the Pelicans play-by-play duties. Graff, we always appreciate the time, man. Thanks. Thank you, Matt. And be well. That is Todd Graffagnini. This is After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. That's SouthPointVW.com. 9 different IIHS top safety picks, and I talk about it all the time. That's the highest safety designation that a vehicle can earn. 9 different Volkswagen models have earned that designation. And it's pretty obvious. You get the great German engineering, the style, the feel, the performance of luxury, the safety, that peace of mind when you get behind the wheel, when you strap your wife or children or spouse, significant other, and your children in the vehicle with you, you have that peace of mind knowing you're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road. That's what you get with Volkswagen. That's why I drive a Volkswagen. That's why Erica drives a Volkswagen, and you should as well. SouthPointVW.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, I've been anxious to get to this. Just the way that the show was structured today, it took till now to get there. But
I came across some interesting comments from the sportsbook director at Circa Sportsbook out in Las Vegas about LSU. The amount of money coming in, being bet on LSU as a national championship wager, and also what sportsbooks really think about this LSU team, as there has been a variety of numbers posted on these Tigers. We're going to talk about that next on AFR.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. Tell you every single day. Inflation running rampant, we've all seen it. From a gallon of milk to a gallon of gas, you know that your dollar just isn't going as far. So everyone is trying to find ways to either make more or save more. We'll start with your insurance. 293-0450, 293-0450. Call today. Doesn't matter if you're in Baton Rouge. They service the entire state of Louisiana. They're even licensed in Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. So if you got that camp on the Panhandle or the hunting camp in Texas or Mississippi, they can help you. Insurance Network of Louisiana. They shop independently for free, no catch, no gimmick, to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. Give you examples every day of people who have saved thousands annually on their insurance coverage because they made the call to Insurance Network of Louisiana. You could be next. Do it right now. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt and Hill, The Early Line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy.
But I know y'all wanted that 808. Can you feel that BASS, baby? I like the way you move. I like the way you move. Woo, I love the way
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Muse, update us on the Citizens Bank and Trust poll question of the day, if you would, please.
Sure thing. Citizens Bank poll question of the day. Do you believe Brian Kelly knows who his starting quarterback will be? 65.8% say yes.
Well, I just voted, so it's actually updated.
Okay. So now, well, no, it still says 65.8 on mine.
64.1%. So, well, Twitter doesn't know what it's doing then. How many votes are you showing?
38.
It's at 39 because my vote just went. So, again, it's only 39 votes, but roughly 2/3 of you think he knows. I'm in the minority where I think he genuinely does not know. We talked about it earlier. Brian Kelly was at Rotary today on Wednesday and was asked about the quarterbacks. And I've heard him talk enough throughout this offseason. We had Joe Sloan, the quarterbacks coach, on the show. Heard the staff talk enough and the players. And people have maybe preferences or leans, but until you get out there and do it for real, a new staff learning this roster, I genuinely believe he does not know. He may have an idea of what he thinks, what he'd like to see. I believe that. But I don't think he's starting camp knowing who his starter is. And I will be as interested as anybody to see how it plays out. When you pull up ESPN.com and you see a headline that says, it's a picture of Brian Kelly and, on the LSU practice field, and it says, LSU has attracted significant money, Q&A with Las Vegas odds maker. That's going to get my attention every dang time. LSU attracting significant money. We've talked about it a lot, and I always try to prevent myself from going down the homer line. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. There are people that can do it. If you want affirmation, you can find it. I ain't that. I'm going to tell you honestly what I think, if it's good or bad. So, and I will grant you sometimes, in an effort to be split down the middle, like just as impartial as I can, sometimes I probably go too far either way, okay? But we've talked a lot about LSU, and LSU has been one of the more perplexing teams to figure out because you have seen such a wide gap of projections for LSU. You've seen Vegas odds makers project LSU at 6 wins, right when Brian Kelly got the job, the earliest projections. And you, after a lot of the transfers and as the spring went along, you've seen LSU north of 7.5, 8 wins in some sports books. That's just a massive gap to see a 2-game difference in some sports books. Well, David Purdom at ESPN, who's sort of their gambling reporter, spoke to the odds maker, Matt Metcalf, at Circa Sportsbook in Las Vegas. Now, I'll grant you, this is one odds maker. But again, it's at the Circa in Las Vegas. I mean, it's a significant guy. They take a significant handle in action. And I talk about betting here because a lot of people, football people, have opinions, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, but Vegas looks at things differently. Vegas isn't looking at anything emotional. It is strictly data-driven and trying to accurately project to win. That's what Vegas does. So I'm always going to put more stock into what odds makers say than what an analyst may say. So Matt Metcalf is doing this interview, and they're talking about a team like USC, right? How a lot of money has come in, how they actually adjusted win totals for SC because they expected a lot of money because of Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams and all that sort of stuff. And initially, they had him at 16-1 to win the national championship. They got so much money, they bumped it back to 25-1. And by the way, said they ran their season wins for USC up to 8.5. They opened it at 9.5 and just waited for the bettors to kind of tell them what they thought. What was really interesting about LSU is he said LSU is another example of one of those teams this year. And this is what you're not going to like. There's a part that you probably will like, but this is the part you are, as an LSU fan, you are not going to like this, okay? Full disclosure. And this is a quote from the odds maker at Circus Sportsbook. Quote, our raw wins number for LSU is 5.5. But we use 6.5, knowing that the public would most likely want to bet this team over a low number. Meaning, if they had set it at 5.5, they knew that even though that's what they feel it is, they knew the over would get hammered if they set it at 5.5. He said, in these situations, we're basically looking for a number that recreational players, public bettors, or fans will bet over, and that no professional players will bet under. Basically, they know if we set it 6.5, if the sharps know it's 5.5, they're not going to bet under at 6.5. But they know the public is going to hammer the over. Public's going to see LSU 6.5 and hammer the over. Now, I personally think LSU's floor this year is 7. I find it very hard to see how LSU goes below 7 wins because I think they win their 4 non-conference games, and I do think that they will win at least 3 SEC games. I think that is their floor. Could they go lower? Of course you could. I mean, that's why you teed up to play the game. But I think that's LSU's floor is at 7. I also think their ceiling is 9. We've talked about that. But the head odds maker at Circus Sportsbook in Vegas is actually telling you the number for LSU this year is 5.5. They're basically telling you LSU's 5-7 or 6-6. But because LSU's a very public brand and is going to get a lot of action, they set it at 6.5. Told you weren't going to like that. And you can roll your eyes, and I know what fans are going to say. Well, what did they have LSU at in 2018? What did they have LSU in 2019? Yes, teams go over. Some teams go under. You have to let a season play out and see, right? And they try to take action on both sides of the number. We understand that. But, again, these are people that are not looking at this with any partiality. All they care about is making money. So that did give me pause when I saw it today. The other thing, though, was interesting that you may like. He said LSU has been very popular in the national title futures, mostly because you get the chance to bet a high-profile new hire coach in Brian Kelly moving to an historically elite program, but at a much higher price than USC. LSU has attracted money in the 70 to 90 to 1 range. So you're getting incredible odds. Now they sit, by the way, LSU's at Circa is at 55 to 1. So they're seeing, and he said we're still seeing decent action. So the way fans are looking is they're going, it's LSU. They won a national championship a couple of years ago. They're a perennial power. You get this great coach in Brian Kelly. You heard Tony Barnhart on this show at SEC Media Days tell you that this is the most talented team Brian Kelly has ever had. This LSU team he feels is more talented than any team he had at Notre Dame, including 2 that made the playoff and 1 that was in the BCS National Championship game back in 2012. Now, they all got waxed, but he's telling you he thinks this team is more talented. So if you look at it and you go, well, what if Brian Kelly does catch lightning in a bottle year 1? It's happened. I mean, we saw Bob Stoops at Oklahoma very quickly turn that thing around from 99 to winning a national championship in 2000. Now, I mean, Larry Coker won a national championship in his first year at Miami, but he inherited what was the greatest team in college football history until LSU 2019. Gus Malzahn at Auburn. Awful team in 2012. I mean, that's why Gene Chizik was fired 2 years after winning a national championship. Gus Malzahn, year 1 at Auburn in 2013, played for a national title, was 13 seconds away from winning it in his first year. So if you're a sports bettor, you're looking at LSU going, They're in the SEC. They play a schedule that's equatable to making a playoff if you do well. You got a coach that's been in this situation before. They're certainly going to be a better coach than they were. You still got Keishon Butte, and you got B.J. Ojolari, and these players that we know and super talented guys. What if they catch lightning in a bottle? It's worth a shot at 70-1. I kind of get it. So it's why LSU continues to be one of the most fascinating teams in college football this year because of all of the variables surrounding. Look, there's a lot of teams that are hovering in the, those odds at the 55-1 to win the national championship that just aren't very interesting. Like, Oklahoma State is just not interesting. Like, that's their odds, but you and I know Oklahoma State out of the Big 12 isn't getting there. An SEC school could. What if 6-year senior Miles Brennan just, Matt Flynn in 2007? What if Jaden Daniels realizes all the great potential that he has, and Butte has a Biletnikoff Award caliber season, 5-star running back John Emery finally pops off when he gets his opportunity. That defense under Matt House, which has a bunch of veterans now in the secondary and a super talented front seven. You see what, like, you can piece it together to make the case, which is why a lot of people are gonna take that flyer. But the flip side of it is the Sharps are saying 5.5. 5.5. Just too many questions. They can't all be answered to the affirmative. Buse and I were talking. He said, "You mean to tell me LSU's only going to go 2-6 in the league?" I was like, I think LSU's going to be favored in. I am certain. I think that LSU will be favored in 2 games, 2 SEC games, and it's the 2 home games against the Mississippi schools. I think LSU will be an underdog in their 4 road games: Auburn, Florida, Texas A&M, and Arkansas. I think they'll be an underdog in those 4 games. They'll be an underdog at home against Bama, and they could be a home dog to Tennessee. That wouldn't surprise me if they're a home dog to Tennessee. Close, point, 2, whatever it may be. It wouldn't stun me if that was the case. So you're a team that's going to play a lot of coin flip games this year. It's why they're fascinating. It's why everybody's looking at LSU going, I don't know what to make of this team. I don't know. Like, usually, in a given year, when Les was coaching this team, every year we just went 8-4, 9-3, 8-4, 9. I mean, it was a given. Like, you weren't going to be below 8. You probably end up at 9. You win a nice bowl game, you get to 10. Really good year like 2010, you win 10. You get the bowl, you win it, you get to 11. It's and then every 4 years or so, you're competing for a natty. And they were just standard there. This team, it feels like, just has a much wider, range of possibilities for this LSU team. Where again, what Vegas thinks the floor, I don't think the floor is as low as they do. But then again, I'm not them. They're just a team that everybody is going to watch because of all the variables. And certainly Brian Kelly getting $100 million and leaving Notre Dame the way he did makes them more intriguing just for the storyline's sake as well, not even relating to what happens on the field. When we come back, Brian Kelly, as we mentioned, was at Rotary today. I want to let you hear a little more of what Brian Kelly had to say. He did talk about his offensive line. He talked about kind of how they're using their schedule right now and what the game week schedule will be like, a lot of that stuff. So we'll delve into it. We'll continue talking some LSU football as we're inching closer. By the way, if you want to bet those futures, you can do it at DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. This weekend, y'all, UFC 277. Remember, new users at the DraftKings Sportsbook. This weekend, UFC 277, Pena, Nunez 2. If you want to bet on it, any fight on that card, bet just $5. They'll give you $100 in free bets, no matter the outcome of the fight, win or lose. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, but you got to use the promo code Baton Rouge, one word. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. That's how they know we sent you, so we'd greatly appreciate it, but that's also how you unlock that great promotion. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. If you want to bet college football futures, Major League Baseball action tonight, it's all there for you at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. All right, it's after further review. As soon as we get done here, I'm scooting over to Oliver Twist. Will Stout is going to join me on Scone and Tea tonight. T-Bob is out. He's got some family stuff he's got tonight. But next week, T-Bob and I are back together for in perpetuity. We actually signed we signed a 2-year contract with Oliver Twist. All of our Wednesdays for 2 years, me and T-Bob, except for this one. It'll be me and Will Stout. It's Catholic High overload there, Muse. How you like me now? All right, let me knock out a break. We'll come back. Let's hear some more what Brian Kelly had to say as he spoke to Rotary today. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling a home, you know what to do. Call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Remember, working with Darren James obligates you to nothing. If at any point you're not thrilled, fire him. He'll let you out of the contract free and clear. But that's just one of the great guarantees Darren offers. How about his Love It or Leave It program? Buy a home from Darren. If for whatever reason, within a year, you have to sell that home, he'll sell it for free for his half of the commission. Working with Darren James, it's just the Ritz-Carlton of real estate. So call Darren, 335-7666, 335-7666. Learn why Darren James is on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com.
This here's a jam for all
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
We're going to get to Otter Locks in about 10 minutes from right now. After wearing the collar 2 nights ago, Otter last night, 1-3. So Otter right now is 1 for his last 8. Man, that is not great. Not great, Bob. So, we talked about it. As he lost a little zip on the fastball, being in Del Mar for a month. Where the surf meets the turf.
The odds aren't in his favor right now in that argument.
Riding around in the convertible.
Yeah.
Hanging out with the ladies, wearing big hats,
sipping
drinking margaritas
yeah.
every day.
I hope he's doing better on the ponies than he is in Major League Baseball.
Well, he told us he was.
That's true. We did say that.
I like my money. I value it.
Who doesn't?
Well, apparently Otter right now. Brian Kelly at Rotary today. I want to let you hear what he said about NIL, because Lane Kiffin had some interesting NIL comments as well. But something else I like Brian Kelly had to say, and you'll probably appreciate this. Play number 6, Muse, if you would. He was asked how he will use game week. Give a listen.
So my toughest days are on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'm going to sit back with you on Saturday and enjoy the game. Because that's how I like to coach. I want to have fun on Saturday just like you do. And I really don't worry about wins and losses. I know you have to win. I know you got to win them all here at LSU. And that's just fine by me.
It's why he's here, but I also definitely do appreciate the sentiment of, you hear players say it all the time, it's cliche. Championships are won in the offseason. But it's also true in game week. The preparation is what allows you to go out and execute on Saturday, and it's just nice to hear him say it. I think part of it is, we're all still getting to know Brian Kelly, right? We are. He was hired in December. He basically did an intro press conference and went into a cave until after signing day in February. We just didn't see him. And now as we're getting closer to the season, he's doing more media availability, and we're kind of getting to know him, his personality, his preferences, how he's going to handle things. I don't know that this is broken yet. I don't know if anybody's mentioned this, but one of the things that's going to be different is the coaches show. The coaches show isn't going to be on Wednesdays anymore. It's going to be on Thursdays at TJ Roops. That's just what Brian Kelly wants to do. He wants to do his coaches show on Thursday instead of Wednesday. Well, that's his prerogative. He's the head coach. So that's going to change, on game weeks. It's not good or bad. It's just a thing that's his preference. So we're all learning it as we go. So I like hearing him be personable with the fans, because that's at Rotary Room. You get a lot of boosters in there. You get a lot of influential. Not to say that I don't want to come across the fan who buys a ticket somewhere in the stadium isn't influential. Please don't misunderstand me, but I think you know what I mean when you're talking about business owners and people who are going to be heavy contributors to TAF and people you're going to tap into it with NIL, and it matters. Sometimes I'll tell you, one of the things that Ed Ogeron did very, very well was he gave appropriate face time to a lot of those people that were influential. That's something Les didn't do. So when things went bad for Les, he didn't have a lot of allies. And I'm not telling you there's a right or wrong way to do it. Les just wanted to spend time with his family and on football. That was it. He didn't like to go to events and shake hands and be personable and talk to people. It just wasn't a thing that he enjoyed doing. That's something where Ed Ogeron thrived. Dude would run shirtless down Nicholson. It was just, they were different. And again, I'm not saying good, bad, right, wrong. Just different. So we're learning that with Brian Kelly as well. Speaking of NIL, here's what Brian Kelly had to say today at Rotary with NIL. Well, remember last year, Ed Ogeron maybe made his most bold NIL comment where someone asked if fans should put a collective together, and he said, I'm paraphrasing, talk to Derek Panamsky, I would like for you to pay our players, if you remember that. So a year later, now that we're full into NIL, here's what Brian Kelly had to say.
NIL, name, image, and likeness. I think the intention of name, image, and likeness and helping the student athlete with that is outstanding. Obviously, it's not regulated in the manner that I think everybody would like to see it regulated, and we don't want to use it as an inducement. I think those are probably the two things that everybody is concerned with, including myself. I don't think we want to see it as an inducement in recruiting, and I don't think we want to see it used in a manner that turns the student athlete into a professional athlete.
It's also so Brian Kelly said what everybody said. NIL is great and for what it's intended to do, but you don't want it to be a recruiting inducement. But that's exactly what it's been. That's why Lane Kiffin is always interesting, because he never minces words. He doesn't talk in circles. And he said that today on ESPN on First Take.
There should be some form of cap, because if you look at professional sports, which now we are in a professional sports, we have free agency for the players. They get paid to play. And so, without having long-term contracts. So my point of capping it was at least then there'd be a way to manage it. Remember, too, not only is there not a cap, we have collective groups, donors at places paying players and picking the players to come supposedly without in communication with the coaches. So how would that system work in professional sports like the NFL? Everybody has a different cap, and the coaches and the general managers aren't picking and choosing how they divide that cap with the players. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But from the beginning of this thing, if you understood and you looked at it, you could see these problems coming. I've said it, you basically have now legalized cheating. So we are where we are.
Legalized cheating. A cap will never happen, by the way. There are lawsuits drafted and ready to go if any state or school or the NCAA tries to cap NIL potential. Everyone wants guardrails, but nobody has a solution. That's why it's just going to continue the way it is. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. We've got one thing left to do. Jimmy's going to join us for Otter Locks when we come back next. Hopefully, all joking aside, hopefully we get back on a little bit of a roll tonight. Scone and Tea tonight, 7 to 8 p.m. at Oliver Twist. I'll be there with Will Stout, co-hosting tonight in place of T-Bob. Pluckers Trivia, 8 o'clock tonight at both locations, 90s Trivia. We've had a lot of fun with that today. So a lot of stuff to do tonight. We hope you enjoyed. All right, let me knock out a break. Otter Locks is next.
AFR.
Man, we were talking to Taylor Calandro earlier in the show, and he just gotten out of his attic. Having trouble with the AC. Hey, don't go get in your attic. Call River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001. The only reason you should get in your attic is if, I don't know, you were on a bender last night and you want to just sweat out all the booze out of your pores. Just go sit up there and sweat for about 15 minutes. It's equivalent to being in a steam room, right? Don't mess with that. Call River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001. The big yellow vans and trucks you see all over town, they got equipment on their trucks that other companies haven't even heard of. They're so big on continuing education because they want their technicians to be up to date with the latest technologies, all the latest practices, so you can have the best possible experience. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001. Nights, holidays, weekends, they always work, and they never charge you extra. River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Plucker's Trivia. 90s themed trivia tonight at Plucker's, 8 o'clock, both locations. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Workbox Services. For over 20 years, Baton Rouge's leader on on-site construction, industrial, and residential services.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
I'm doing good, Matthew. How about you, buddy?
I'm concerned.
I'm out of my element. Is that what it is?
I'm just wondering if I should be asking you for picks on the ponies instead of on baseball. Can I bet on the ponies on, here in Louisiana on my app, my DraftKings app? Could I bet on the ponies here at Del Mar? I really don't know. I've never bet on horse racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait. What app do you have?
I have DraftKings.
No, they don't have horse racing. You do like TVG. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Or you can go to one of those ultra desirable OTBs.
Yeah,
that's a nice crew that hangs out over there.
Did that with Condon. Did that with Condon back in like 2003, and he went over to Port Allen OTB, and that it was enough for me there, Otter.
Still trying to get the smoke smell out of your clothes.
Yeah, look, man, Don. Look, all the shows I've done at Don Juan, I've just embraced it. And actually, truth be told, Otter, I had COVID 2 years ago. I never got my smell back. Got my taste back. Never got my smell back. So yeah, weird, right? Doesn't even bother me anymore. So there's pros and cons.
Okay.
Hey, listen.
This is an in-depth handicapping conversation. But let's continue.
Even Muse yesterday wondered why I would take your bet and bet the Mets against the Yankees. And I said, well, look, it's a good hedge, right? I mean, I'll pull for the Yankees, but if they lose and win money, great. So I did. I play all the Otterlocks straight.
Yeah.
In 2 days, the Mets beating the Yankees is the only one that we've hit now. So we're 1-7 in our last 8. So we got some work to do, Otter. So what are we looking at tonight?
Easy to say we've had a good day today, but that doesn't help you listeners out right now.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Okay, listen, Cincinnati is no score first inning. Okay. In game, get you Cincinnati. Okay.
Money line?
Yes.
I'm looking at minus 205.
Castillo, it's 205 already. We'll start at 150. Hook it up. Can you bet an in-game and a Mets parlay? Can you do that, or no parlays in in-game?
I don't know. Well, I could try. So an in-game, let's do 10. Yeah, I can do that. And a Mets money line?
Back on the Mets. Scherzer said 4 starts. Return. 1 run or less in all 4 starts. Herman. Yeah, Herman should be a little bit better than he was on last Thursday night on the back end of that day-night doubleheader, which we had. And they had back-to-back home runs in Alvarez and Bregman. But, yeah, I'm on the Mets. I'm on the Reds.
It just went to 255.
Hold on, let me peek in here, Jimmy O's, and see what's going on. Hey, I got a leadoff single, and so now, two on, nobody out. Jimmy O's in Delmar, my place. You know that?
Jimmy Ott, I like it.
So, yeah, same card tonight, but that's what I'm going with, and I'm going to go with Baltimore again. We talked about them a lot as far as what do you do with them in Seattle. Seattle finished off a sweep. They got the Astros out the way. Koken and I on the Bet Rivers podcast ahead plus $1.95. That helps, but doesn't help your listeners right now.
Right.
So I'm going back to Baltimore. This is not a 3-game set. It's not a sweep opportunity. They have one more tomorrow. But I'm taking Baltimore basically even money. The pitching stats, rest is really good. Your boy Tyler Wells for Baltimore almost as good. So Baltimore, gosh, I wish I should have sent it to you. See, I'm out of my element a little bit. I'm a little distracted. Usually I text you.
1 minute remaining.
So that's what we have tonight.
So just Baltimore and then the Cincinnati Mets parlay.
No, Mets. Yeah, we're Mets. Yeah, Mets is the big one tonight. Great atmosphere last night at Citi Field. You don't like it, but Scherzer's money, man. He has just been really, really tough. So, and all four of us it's coming off the IL.
All right. Let's go Mets.
You want me to give you a surfing pick?
Sure. I'll take anything at this point.
The kid with the bleached blonde hair is going to beat the kid with the mohawk coming in. Okay.
Game time with Jimmy Ott follows us. The Otter's still out west. Otter, enjoy your night. Real quick, where's Hanny tonight?
Hanny, if it snows, keep it in sick in Gonzales.
All right, Otter. We appreciate you, man. Have a great night.
Okay, brother.
All right, that's going to do it for us here. I'm Muse Pauly. Thanks. See you tomorrow, 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com, with locations from sea to shining sea. Michelli is our country's largest distributor of scales. You've heard me talk about Michelli for 2 years now. They're just such an incredibly impressive business. 75 years they've maintained local ownership and continued to grow with offices, 29 different labs across 11 different states, from Florida, Louisiana, Texas, all the way to California and Oregon. And they're hiring, especially their Louisiana positions right now. Harahan office in the New Orleans area, Baton Rouge, and Lake Charles. They're hiring at all of those facilities. So if you're interested, log on to Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. Hit the careers tab right there at the top, and you can learn how you can apply there to join a business that's been in business for 75 years. Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Elite Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and